Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know Zonos. They say you have to send a warrior to go and dethrone a king. Well, we all held our breath Friday night in this series, Golden State versus the Cavs in this year's NBA Finals, because there was no broom, no sir. Cavs scored 86 points at half. That was a record, playoff record. It's got to be a halftime record. 86 points in the first half, unheard of. Then we knew it was going to be a legendary performance once we saw them hit 13 threes in the first half, 24 three-point field goals for that entire game in Cleveland. Everybody's rocking, partying. Put that broom up. Put that broom up. But this was a game of desperation. LeBron had a self-pass to himself for a dunk. You had Kyrie go off for 40, well, 39, I should say, somewhere around there. But we know that was because they're on the brink of elimination. LeBron knew that you can't get swept in two NBA Finals, 07 and 2017, and call yourself the Cav to the GOAT? I don't think so, Mr. James. Now, we fast forward to Game 5 last night, and it was chip night. Yes, the Warriors win their back-to-back, excuse me, not back-to-back, but second within 3 years NBA championship. The Warriors and KD become validated. Now, it should have been back-to-back last year, but we saw Kyrie hit the three late in Steph's face, and then LeBron with the unheard of block where he comes from out of nowhere on Iguodala and blocks it against the backboard. That could have been back-to-back, but, you know, it's all atoned for this year, the Draymond suspension by the Golden State Warriors bringing home the Larry O'Brien trophy. Now, KD, he wins MVP. He deserved MVP, averaged 30 points every single game, and he was the clear difference maker when it came to defending LeBron and producing at the level they needed him to produce at offensively, considering what Harrison Barnes did last year, which was a very pedestrian performance, didn't score a lot of points, and it showed in Game 7 because there was a lot of open threes that Harrison Barnes could not hit in the corner. But you can't feel bad, Harrison Barnes. This is why they brought in the Slim Reaper, the killer, KD from OKC. This is why he came, to elevate that Warriors franchise to another level. And what is that level? Another championship, which took place last night. The difference maker he is. A Benz to a Bugatti. Now, we look at that comparison, KD would be the Bugatti. Now, Chef, you're in that Bugatti, and my boy Finn, I got to give him a shout-out because he said Chef should not be feel too bad about not winning an NBA Finals MVP because, hey, he's in that Bugatti with Kevin Durant, and Steph, he's riding. He can still holler at the pretty girls on the boardwalk, but KD is, in fact, the driver of that luxury vehicle there in Golden State in Oracle Arena. The narrative is changing exponentially. He told LeBron James, Kevin Durant after the game, we tied 1-1 now. And yes, they are. Kevin Durant lost to LeBron James in 2012 when he was with OKC, but he makes up for that loss by avenging it with a win versus LeBron in this final. So I think it really helps his cause, considering who he wants to be at the end of his career and where he's looked at as far as the Mount Rushmore of basketball, because you look at LeBron James now, his stats in the finals are not amazing. I'll get to that in a moment. Chef Curry averaged 30 points for the series. No finals MVPs, like I said. He can't be too mad at himself, though. He came out and played much better than he did in 2015 and 2016 combined. So the most that Chef can do, because, I mean, there was a point where he almost averaged a triple-double for this series. Now, the one amazing thing about this, LeBron James in a loss averages a triple-double. Some people may refer to this as one of the greatest finals performances that they've ever seen. Now, he's a transcendent player. LeBron's going to get those numbers, but averaging a triple-double, no matter who does it, is phenomenal in the finals. However, this year he is no champion. 3-5 in the NBA Finals. You are under 500 in your finals appearances. Therefore, I cannot sit here and talk about you in the GOAT discussion because even if you win one more, LeBron, you're then 4-5 in the NBA Finals, which still leaves you under 500. So you can't be called a GOAT if you're not at least 500 in the NBA Finals. And for the immediate foreseeable future, I don't see LeBron James and the Cavs beating this Warriors team unless they make some great, impactful, substantial changes on this roster. You got to do something with Kevin Love. 6 points last night. Well, excuse me, not 6 points. 6 points. And then J.R. Smith, he played well, 7 for 8 from from the 3-point line, 25 points. So I think out of the two, you get out of J.R. and Iman Shumpert, you got to do something with Shump because Shump Can't ever hit the open threes. Great defender. But J.R. Smith showed that, yeah, I might have struggled early in the series, but when you need me, I'll be here. And he showed it with 7 for 8 from the 3. But I really, really like what we've seen this year in the NBA. We've seen 2 juggernauts that everybody said before the season would meet. And, oh, this is not going to be have any suspense whatsoever. It won't be what it's been billed to be. But didn't we get a great finals? I mean, I did say, well, don't excuse me, but I did say that Steph Curry, KD, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green would take down LeBron James and the Cavs in 5 games. So there's a reason we call this place Zono Sports. Now, the Celtics and Lakers 30 for 30, that's coming on soon. I want to say tonight, if not tonight, later this week sometime. But this that we're seeing right now, that we're witnessing with our corneas, with our pupils, with our retinas, this rivalry, Warriors versus the Cavs, closest thing that we'll ever get to experiencing that type of heated rivalry, because we see 2 teams with Hall of Famers up and down the roster. Kevin Love, Kyrie, LeBron James, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, KD, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala. We see Hall of Famers up and down these rosters. And, I mean, the rivalries in the games that we're getting from 2 teams who want it bad. There's not enough in sports anymore of people who want it. You know, I liked watching that Alabama-Clemson national title game because we saw Deshaun Watson get hit, spun up in the air because he wanted it. So, that being said, look forward to seeing the Warriors go to a couple more finals. Look forward to seeing LeBron get there. Can LeBron fix this under 500 thing? I think it may be too late. Too old, not enough time. But don't get it twisted. LeBron's still in his prime. Now, let's move forward. There's a few more things that happened this weekend. The Stanley Cup. They are lit in Pittsburgh as well. Stanley Cup won by the Pittsburgh Penguins back-to-back. They are back-to-back. Had the Stanley Cup won last year, and then they won it this year as well over Nashville. And Nashville had a Cinderella story. Very low seed, made it all the way to the playoffs, had that outstanding postseason home record, but they could not get it done against the Penguins. Sidney Crosby, Sid the Kid, now is basically Sid the Man, because he is the man there in Pittsburgh, wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. He's a baller. He's a great hockey player. And, I mean, when we talk about the great one in Gretzky, I don't know all Gretzky's records, but everybody who knows a little bit about hockey knows that Wayne Gretzky is the standard. Sidney Crosby has put himself closer to that discussion when we talk about GOATs. You know, because I know Mario Lemieux, he was talked about that in that discussion during his career. There's been many people there who won that Pittsburgh uniform who've won championships as well. But Sidney Crosby first needs to focus on being the best Pittsburgh Penguin, and he's mighty close. Now, College World Series, interesting story here. Oregon State has a pitcher, Luke Heimlich. Now, evidently Luke Heimlich, when he was 15 years old, teenager, molested a 6-year-old family member repeatedly. Now, this was just uncovered. Oregon State somehow compliance officers that said they never heard of this incident before he was recruited and admitted to the Oregon State University. Now, this was very unfortunate because it's in the midst of the regionals during the College World Series. It's something that happened years ago that came up because Mr. Heimlich is a registered sex offender, not selected in the first 75 picks of the MLB draft yesterday, which I know is disheartening for him and his family. There was even a memo sent out on how to avoid discussing Luke Heimlich when he is pitching. That was sent out to the Pac-12 network staff and commentators, which is very sad considering all the parties involved. We got to think about the victim here first. There's a 6-year-old girl who's maybe now 11 who has to deal with this, and now this has come to fruition. Hopefully it's in a way that she hasn't been identified by classmates and people like that. I mean, this is just a bad situation for everybody involved. We had a troubled teenager who did what he did. Terrible, terrible mistake. Terrible mistake, Mr. Heimlich. But for you to get this close to realizing your dream and something like that to come out, and it negatively impacts your future, it's very sad because her future, the young lady, was impacted from very early on. And it just goes to show things you do in the dark, they typically do come to the light. And that's a harsh reality for a lot of individuals. We've all done things that we're maybe not proud of, but this by far is very egregious. But I definitely pray for Luke Heimlich, his family, and the young lady who was affected by this tragedy. It's sad that in sports, there's so many good things, so many outstanding aspects of competition. But when you hear about something like this that negatively affects so many people, it's just sad. It's sad. But, you know, hopefully Heimlich, because he was a teenager in the future, does get an opportunity to fulfill his pitching dream. Especially, he says he's been to counseling and things like that, of that nature. So hopefully something maybe changes for this man's future for the better. But just hope everybody involved does feel better from all this. Now, boxing-wise, Mayweather versus McGregor is the next big battle. Now, evidently, Mayweather, he's smelling around for the date August 26th. So, McGregor, you better sign that paper. We want to see the fight. Basketball's over. So now, make it happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing Conor McGregor get in that ring. Because if he knocks out Floyd Mayweather, myself and a couple other people may be called prophets. Sports prophets. But we shall see. Next show will be Thursday. And next week, pay attention now. The NBA Finals are over. We've been rapping all year. Zoe knows it's not going to go anywhere. But starting next week, there will just be one show a week for the duration of the summer. And that'll be on Tuesdays. So you'll be able to catch me every Tuesday. No Thursday anymore for a while. But every Tuesday. I'll still have the juice. You can still check me out. Stay up with me on Instagram. And I'll also be working on a documentary this summer. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching the Zoe Knows Sports Show, where you know Zoe knows.